And then I have my questions for you. Please. Okay, you are live yet again. Good to be here. Let me keep my. I want to keep my. Okay, great. All right, so good to be here again, guys. As I said, this is a conversation that is usually not the mainstream conversation. If it were to be for money conversations, people will fill up. But this has to do with our health, has to do with expectations, has to do with sometimes having a detour that happens in our lives when we least expected them to happen or least expected it to happen. Tonight, we're going to be looking at this book. This book is titled Rooftop: My Struggles and Triumph Over Stage 4 Cancer. And I have the author of the book, the person that went through this, the valley of the pain and somehow the shadow of death, if I can use that, and went through all that cycle and came out alive. And today she is living her life. She's cancer free. She's doing all it takes to be able to stay alive. And this conversation, we're going to be looking at certain things. I'm going to be asking her questions, and she's going to be answering. We're looking at certain things, perspectives, thoughts, um, and a whole lot emotions and feelings, and we're going to be learning some lessons also as she shares her story. So welcome, Doc. You look beautiful as usual today. How are you?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for the compliment. I'm doing very well. So this and you. Is everything
I'm struggling to hear you. Can you?
good? Okay. Hope it's better now.
Yeah, I think it's better now. So how are you? How have you been since our
I've been
last
fine.
conversation?
I've been fine. Thank you very much. I'm doing well. I appreciate the compliment and good evening or afternoon for you, everyone. Depending on where you're watching this from.
I don't know why your sound is glitchy. It's going off and on, off and on, off and on.
Okay. Not sure. Is it better?
Yeah, I think it's better. It was just glitching. I mean, going
Okay.
off and on and on.
All right. If it does that again, please let me know. I'll just try and maintain my position here.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to dive straight into it. I'm going to be asking you questions, and then as you're answering, I'll take myself away from the screen so that you are fully on the screen. Questions from the book. All right, so guys, if you are joining us, this is Rooftop. This is the lady that wrote the book Rooftop. She's a medical doctor, a young, beautiful medical doctor that had stage 4 cancer. I mean, when you hear stage 4, most times when I hear stage 4, I'm like, oh God, the person is gone. No need. You just be praying and accepting fate that this person has done her best or has done his best on earth and it's time to leave. But she recovered from stage 4 cancer and she's alive and she's written this book. And so I'm going to be asking her questions from the book, from the much I've read in the book, and she'll be sharing. Okay, so my first question to you is this, because I see a lot of people, my friends, so a few of my medical friends have written books, how to beat, not how to beat cancer, how to avoid cancer, how to, and I've seen great individuals who are doing the right things, they're eating right foods, they are they are exercising, they're doing a whole lot, and yet they had the disease. Like I have a friend of mine right now, she's in UK, she's been battling this thing for more than 4 years right now. And she was in Lagos and then she left the UK. And each time I see her post, her hair is all gone. I can't begin to imagine the kind of pain she's going through. And she's bubbling, she's a bubbly type. She likes to crack jokes. Even in the midst of what she's going through, she's still cracking jokes, writing about her ordeal. And I'm beginning to wonder how she's able to deal. Even to have conversation with her is painful because I don't even know what to ask. I don't even know kind of things to say about. I mean, when she was in Nigeria, we could talk about business, we could talk about, but each time that I see her post, and knowing the fact that I don't even know what to do to what to say to her, you know. But then the question I want to ask: can cancer happen to anybody? And if yes, why?
Okay, well, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I can't even really truly imagine how your friend is dealing with all of this, because cancer, I mean, yes, it's a disease that many people suffer, but people are different, and how you experience it is different. And it's tough. It's tough to deal with something, and for 4 years, that's a lot. I wish her well, and hopefully she beats this. She beats this. That's what I really pray for. Um, Unfortunately, cancer is no respecter of persons. It is not. It doesn't go by any set of rules, in the sense that, again, even if you follow like all these guidelines, like all these, okay, avoid this, do this, don't eat this, exercise, whatever rules that you follow, right? I mean, you could have the best diets, you can exercise, you can avoid all the risk factors as much as possible, but then you could still come down with disease. It is that's unfortunate, and it's really frustrating in that sense, because it doesn't matter how young or old you are. It doesn't matter like what it is that you believe, and you really need to emphasize on this, because sometimes there's this whole like fake thing that comes into play where people kind of infer or suggest that, when something like cancer befalls one person, maybe that person or is under like spiritual attack, or the person doesn't have enough faith or needs to pray in a certain way and all of that. Like, you know, that's not the case. And people who end up coming down with cancer, they are not worse sinners or people that have been abandoned by God, or God's teaching a lesson, or any of those kind of crazy things, right? It happens. Cancer happens. Regardless of that, regardless of your race, regardless of your profession. Um, I mean, when I got diagnosed with cancer, and I got diagnosed at stage 4. When I got diagnosed, I was 27 years old at the time. I wasn't somebody who really ate in any unhealthy manner. Most of the meals I'll cook by myself, right? Um, so there was that. There was the fact that as a doctor, I know the symptoms. I know what to expect. So things like, I'm not somebody that is smoking or is around people smoking. I'm not someone who takes a lot of alcohol or anything like that. I was obviously not old, but in the older generation. And it was a shock, because even in my like family, I have no history of a family member coming down with cancer. So this was literally out of the blue. Uh, so yes, it's important that people understand, especially with the way cancer has really like progressed over the years, how there are a lot more cases of it coming up, a lot more people in the younger generation are coming down with it. Um, and interestingly, like within the first few months of my diagnosis, there was this particular um, article on CNN that spoke about like my kind of cancer, like colorectal cancer, how they were observing that more younger people in their 20s, people in their 30s were coming down with disease, and researchers, scientists were trying to figure out why. Right. So there's this trend. I mean, we could say maybe it's due to like how industrialized and polluted our world is, or several other factors. But at the end of the day, even with you being as careful as you possibly can be, um, cancer is still something that can happen, as unfortunate as that is. So, as I like to say, nobody is immune. It doesn't matter your age, your race, your creed, any other kind of like qualification or traits that you have. Um, Cancer can happen, and don't just think yes, it's good to have like faith and be positive, and nobody wishes for bad things. But it's not. This is not a matter of, oh, this is not my portion. Cancer can happen, unfortunately. So yeah, I've seen, besides my experience, I've seen enough of that. Let's understand that, I mean, even babies have cancer. Really, really sad and an unfortunate occurrence, but it happens. So, yes, anybody can have cancer for different reasons, some of which are unexplainable. That would be my answer to that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that explanation. I mean, it's a bit scary listening to that, hearing that despite everything, it's scary hearing that. But then, will you constantly advise for living a good life? What I mean by that, doing the right things, eating healthy, and all that. By doing all this, do we stand a chance of not being able to get knocked down by the disease?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I always say avoid what you can avoid, right? So the fact that this can still happen, right? This the fact that hey, cancer can still pop up in one's life doesn't mean you should go ahead to live anyhow. Avoid what you can avoid, and it's not just about even the cancer, right? It's about any kind of like a illness or just your health generally. So make sure you are eating as healthily as you possibly can. Make sure you are keeping fit, you're exercising, you're getting enough sleep. Now, this is something that people don't emphasize on enough, but sleep is really, really important, like for the body and for your health. So, being able to do that. One thing I would hammer on is, and this is a culture, especially amongst our people, that needs to be developed even more. I know we're doing better, but we can do even more. Is the process of getting medical checks and getting screened, because when things begin to go wrong, I mean, it's a process. Like you don't just wake up from well, go from one moment to the next and then you just like have cancer. It's a progression, right? So when we advocate that people do medical checks, this is not something that oh you wait till you're in your 50s or your 60s before you do. Like right now, I'm going to like hammer this, especially for younger adults, your 20s, in your 30s. Please make taking checks, getting checked regularly, at least even if it's just once a year. Make sure you like get checked and you're getting like screened for common things. So take advantage of this. There's been a whole lot of like awareness, cancer awareness this month, especially for breast cancer. And there are usually a lot of activities and a lot of like programs where you can have like breast exams and things like that. Take advantage of all these. You could do a self breast exam, for instance, for the females. Get that. Do screening. Do like pap smears for like cervical cancer. Men actually do go check like your PSA levels. That's to for prostate cancer and all, or get examined. Like make sure that you're not just seeing visiting like a hospital, visiting a health center as like a waste of time or something that you only do when you're feeling ill or feeling sick, right? It's even see prevention is always going to be better and cheaper than cure. If there is something that is going on and something that can actually be picked right early on or in time, there is a lot of disaster that can be avoided down the line. So part of living well or having the right practice is being proactive with one's health. So I will always going to advise wellness checks. And I mean, apart from just like the cancer screens, right? I've mentioned the popular ones, but apart from that, like if you have a positive family history, someone in your family history, in your line, your parents, your uncle, your whoever, anybody has come down with cancer. So you have to be on higher alert and do more frequent screening and just really know your normal body, like from when something feels off and go get checked. It's so super important. And then even if it's to check your blood pressure, check your blood sugar, so that if there's you're having any kind of hypertension going on or diabetes, which are risk factors for even things like cancers down the line, it's something that will be picked up because really, see, there is very little life that you can enjoy when you're burdened by severe illness and an illness that as can be as deadly as cancer, and your health is non-negotiable. Like, oh, hammer on this. So anything you can do or anything that is good for you to do to be in the best shape possible, be in optimal health, please make sure you're doing that. Yeah, I've covered a lot of things, but yeah, avoid what you can avoid. We hammer, and if you're not sure about the things like, oh, the smoking, cigarettes, shisha, all those things that we say have negative health implications, go look them up and see the things that you should avoid. If you have a problem with it, maybe there's some kind of addiction going on, or it's just the environment you find yourself, people that you're around that are making you unhealthy or tipping you into unhealthy practices, then find a way to address that, get the help you need. Because really, there's nothing you can truly enjoy in life, no matter how much you have, if you do not have the good health to back it up. So yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So my next question is this: I know there are different types of cancers. I mean, different types. But what immediate actions or action or actions should someone take when they have a diagnosis to ensure survival?
Okay. So when you have a diagnosis of cancer, and this is usually when a biopsy is done, like that's when you can confirm a cancer diagnosis. It's usually important that you are. It's usually going to be an oncologist who is giving this report, so an actual specialist in cancer cases, and there's going to be a treatment plan. They're going to be able to run you through what the illness is, explain like the implications of the disease, the kind of like progression complications, the treatment options. So I would say the first step is really getting educated on that, like having that if you need to, if you want to seek a second opinion or get like another like doctor specialist feedback, you can do that. You can do like your own research. I mean, be cautious about the research thing because we know, see, when it comes to health matters, if you go on Google, like any kind of catastrophic thing that you can imagine is there, and you see all sorts. So don't get to what's the word, carried away or get too like disheartened with you see there, but to a good extent, the education part, because you need that knowledge, you need to see kind of what you're comfortable with, what is it chemotherapy being offered, is it radiotherapy, is it another kind of therapy? So like immunotherapy is something that I did as well. So there are different options. Surgery, is that what your doctor is proposing? Just kind of know the options available to you and make that informed decision. Okay, this is like how I want to proceed with this. That would those would be the steps I would say one should follow. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. My next question would be this, because I feel like all through the period when you had the diagnosis to the treatment and then to the healing, everything would have been very bleak and painful. During those moments, do you experience any form of any moments that were a little bit, filled with hope and painlessness? If I can say something like that.
Hmm. That's an interesting question. Hope, yes, and hope is something I had to hang on to. I wouldn't say I always felt hopeful like every single moment because the times that the pain was such at an intense level that like it was maddening. I really couldn't think of anything, and it just felt very like a dreadful dead end situation. But yes, hope, something I had to really really hang on to because at the end of the day, if I lose hope, then I really have lost everything. And hope is a key thing. That helps us humans to keep on going and keep on pushing. Um, but then when it comes to hmm, being, I would say hope kind of goes with faith in this situation. And when it came to my own story, because it's, I really had to be of the mindset and the Hmm. Be certain to some extent. Obviously, I can't determine like everything I buy. There's a lot I had no control over. But this couldn't have been how the story ends for me. Like I had to be like, okay, some way, somehow, like this gets work out. Like I would be healed, but this miracle with me, the treatment will work. Like there just has to be something else. Like this could not be the end of it. Um, so yes, hope is a full weapon, and in something like cancer, like you said, or cancer generally is something that um, frightens one. But then when it's stage four, when it's like, this is the last stage, and mine was even stage 4B. So you have an A and then you have a B. So it was literally like the last stage. We don't see many people coming from that. The statistics aren't in any way in your favor. Like literally, it was me beating the odds, and I'm very fortunate to be standing 5+ years later. Um, but yeah, hope is very important. Did I always think I was going to make it? I can't say I did. Some points were really crazy, especially the pain. The pain was the worst symptom that I experienced. Cancer pain is a whole lot to deal with. Well, yes, um, hope had to feature in this because there really was no other way to have made it through. Being hopeful is at least one thing that could be in my control. So yes, I hung on to that. Uh, I'm not sure if there was another aspect to that question that I didn't cover. So if you could maybe repeat it, or if there's anything I left out of that answering that question, please let me
No, you did remarkably well in answering it. Thank you for that.
know.
So the thing about writing a book, reading through the book, there are so many feelings. It was scary, it was dramatic, it was gory. At some point, it was soothing. Towards the point when you were recovering and you were thinking of coming back to Nigeria. I read particularly where you were looking forward to eating the foods in Nigeria and all that. And then there's a place you now said, okay, leaving there and coming back to where mosquito will now start biting you and all the noise and everything. So there were so many feelings that were going through me as I was reading the book. So your book Rooftop, it bears it all. When you were writing it, tell us about the emotions that went through you. I mean, because I know that you were writing about something that was, what you had gone through. Regarding writing a book, tell us the emotions that went through you as you wrote the book. You know.
Ah, it really wasn't easy because I mean I remember when it was like this was a closed chapter, getting that news that oh you're now in remission, you're cancer free. It's like yay, thank you Jesus. You just want to be as far removed as possible from that situation. Like it's like let this thing remain in the past where it needs to be. So the process of writing a book means having to drench all that up, all the emotions that emanated from that crazy period, and in a lot of ways, it's because um, I had to make it a point to be like honest, as truthful, as candid as possible. It was me having to like go back in time almost to dredge all that up again. So it felt like being naked in certain situations. No matter who knew me or who was like in close proximity with me in that time, they were not in my head to know exactly, very specifically how things felt. Maybe have an idea here and there, but then yeah, this is now me like telling it in a way that it had not been revealed before. So it was a lot. It was a roller coaster. Like I literally had to, but yeah, relive that period again. But the important thing was the story needed to be told. It needed to be shared from that perspective. As patient, this is not me imagining someone's story. This is literally my story. I'm the only one that could tell it that way. So yeah, I just committed to doing it because it's important. I did so. It's important that this kind of resource is there to really educate people and then have them really draw some comfort and be that tool of hope for others. Because yeah, I can definitely say just having people like I've not known before like reach out and say this book, they read the book, how found it is, how it's really like helped them see life differently and live life differently and be a lot more grateful and determined um, to live like intentional lives like that at the end of the day is worth fighting it. And yeah, it needed to be out there. It wasn't easy, felt like naked, but it was in a sense not just um obviously it's out there for the sake of people, but it also did me a lot of good in that it was therapeutic in a way for me, being able to bear all. It's like how people journal their stuff, but this one I did it for like an almost 2 year period, covered an almost 2 year period. So yeah, definitely not easy to do, being that vulnerable and thinking about things, but worth it. And it's good that we know how the story ends. We know there's victory at the end of it. So yeah, it was worth doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that particular reply. Okay. Um, so your book, really reading through your book. I mean, it's about what could have happened, what could happen, to someone's life. It's about activating faith. It's about nurturing hope. This book, somehow I look at it like a manual. Do you look at it like from that perspective that this book is a manual for persons and for organizations? And if yes, I want to know what are you doing right now to make a lot more individuals know that this is truly for them? Because reading through the book, someone can look at, okay, it may not be sickness per se. It could be perhaps you lost your business, perhaps you lost a relationship, perhaps something really, a detour on your path, that made things just come to a standstill. It could be that you were duped. It could even be that you were kidnapped or something like that. you know do you see like a manual that can help people go through the painful part phase of their lives, and what you're doing to really get this into as many people's hands as possible?
Okay, wow, thank you for that. I've thought of this book as different things, a tool, resource. I've never actually thought of the word manual, and I think that in a sense captures it brilliantly. I never wanted to put rooftop as a or to give people the impression this is a how you beat cancer or how to beat cancer book, because that would be a sense untrue. Cancer is not something that there is just this. It's not like malaria, like oh you take this and then it will go. It's not not even close to being that straightforward. So I never really give that impression, but it's definitely a good, great manual as to help people in really, really tough, bad, like not just bad situations, really terrible situations. There are situations, things that are really crippling and can really um, upend your life. So yes, it could be someone's business, passion, severe financial struggle. It could be loss, like actually being a loved one. It could be another kind of illness, whatever it is. It's definitely a book that will help you do things. In the beginning, you said, I don't feel the value of the shadow of death. And interestingly, that's how I always think of the situation. Like, that is what happened. Like, I literally went through that. It was going through the fire and emerging. And it helps a lot of people who have gone through different things. People have gone through different things, some things that they probably never speak of, but it's not anything less serious or less painful than something like this. And it can definitely help in terms of it's not just even what the hope aspect, but being able to manage one's emotions. The emotional and the mental side of things is is most of it at the end of the day, is where most of the work actually needs to be done. When it seems like nothing is working, when it seems like life is slapping you from all sides, when it seems like there is just no other way to go. Like you've reached a dead end. There's no light at the end of this tunnel. What can you do? Like what are you supposed to do? So dealing with all of that or the turmoil that comes with that is definitely a good guide to help one. And in terms of like working with groups, organizations, and all, the primary group that I work with is the Foundation for Cancer Care in West Africa. So it's actually the foundation is affiliated with Lakeshore Cancer Center, which is a hospital that I got some of my treatments, the treatments I had here in Nigeria. So that's why I got it. It's in Lagos, based in Lagos, and they have like foundations to be able to help the survivors with treatments and all. So they are the ones that I work with primarily to help. I mean, the first point of call being cancer survivors themselves and their families. Um, but yeah, with this calling it a manual is something that has given me a lot to think about because it needs to go further. Like this manual needs to go further and to help people in different spheres. When people say, "Oh, a book about cancer," I can just hearing the word cancer. It's like, oh, it's that thing people don't want to associate with, even though everybody knows someone somehow, some way, who has either suffered the illness or is going through it, or has died from it or something. Cancer is not like new to anybody. It's closer to people than they would like to admit. But apart from that, it goes beyond just cancer survival and dealing with cancer. It's also dealing with very, very bad and terrible struggles in life. And how do you deal with that? How do you uh, manage the emotions? How do you get the best perspective and basically get some gifts and some good things come out of this struggle? So yeah, I would I definitely have to like watch that some more and explore it because more people, more groups, more establishments need to get their own hands on this manual. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much, Doctor. For so, my question, next question is because I don't want to stretch you so much in this. Um, for me, being an author, I've written 11 books. My 11 books are here, so I can understand. See all my 11 books.
You've done great with that. I'm a proud owner of your book will sell. I think that's the first of your books that I got. Yeah, I can proudly say I have my own copy of.
When I look at my books, I'm very proud of what I've done for myself, and I'm writing for at this moment. And I mean, I'm looking at next year when I turn 44 and how my books, 4 of them, will be available for sale.
Nice.
It's an exciting feeling, real. It's
It
an
is.
exciting feeling. All right. So, how successful has this book been? In any way, define success, what it means to you, and when it means to you as an author, and how successful has this book been? I mean, Rooftop. I love the design. Some part of your face, your beautiful face. I know this is you, isn't it? Yeah.
It is me. So it's the whole there was the dark side, the dark phase, and then there's the light.
And then the light,
Yeah.
the light, coming in, signifying hope and triumph and all that. Yeah. So tell us.
Okay. All right. So I mean, for me, in terms of I'll kind of use three metrics in a sense. So the first is even getting the book like published, right? There is the whole so I tell people I've always been like one of the I say the most obvious talents that I would say I've had like right from childhood is being able to write stuff. So I mean, in younger days, I'll write for like magazines, I was in the editorial board during medical school. I mean, I used to write a lot of things like social media, blogs, all those kind of things. So, yeah, writing comes naturally to me. I'll say it's the best form of expression for me. But then I always saw that a book as ah, that's really, really next level thing because a book is not just 2 pages, 3 pages. It's not 1,000 words. It's like book, right? So committing to being this and actually being a published author, like is a lot of work. So having to do with that, just commit that time when life is, I mean, life is life and different things are happening, making out that time to really concentrate one's thoughts, write down everything, and then write something as deeply personal as this, not even like a work of fiction, right? So it was first thing was, I mean, actually getting the draft, getting the manuscript, going through the editing process, and actually coming up with a book. So that was the first win that I even got the book out and launched. um, that was the first part of success. The second part, I would definitely say, is the feedback from it. How and for people uh, who have their copies and who will get their copies, the person who wrote the a letter to the reader, right before you go into the meat of story, captured. In fact, from time to time, I go read that again, and it hits me in a different way because it's like this isn't someone who has. She is not like a cancer survivor or like somebody who has had personal experience. But then reading that and her being able to express how much it has changed her, her, her view of life, her perspective, and how um, important it needs for one to just be courageous and intentional about life. And just the way she framed those words, like it hits me afresh that the book, like my book, was able to do that for someone else, be able to be as insightful and touching. I mean, I have such great feedback that people, I mean, a friend of mine who says he does not even read uh, non-fiction books at all, like when he read that, like he was just so um, like happy and glad that he invested the time in that. Like he took up the book, he didn't want to put it down, he read it, he was in a bus on his way back from work, he kept reading it, like he did not drop that book until he had finished it. And like he was so engrossed in it and like really everything. And then people gave me feedback on uh, the humorous aspects of the book because it's not just like, oh, cancer, sad and pain and tears and all of that. You get the humor too. You get things to make you laugh and chuckle about. So just getting different insights. Somebody recently told me how we had taught him some new words I had added to his vocabulary, which was an interesting one. I hadn't gotten that feedback before. So just having people both close by, both strangers, like just reach out and give this. Some people have tracked me down on social media. Maybe their friend gave them a book or something. So getting all that and just knowing that people's lives are touched in a positive way. That's definitely a success to me. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing I would say is, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the for the book to reach people, for it to go everywhere, it has to be sold, right? So being the fact that it's being sold, I mean, internationally on Amazon, copy being sold there, it's being sold within Nigeria, through the seller platform, through Roving Heights bookstores. I mean, just people, the fact that the book is being distributed there, copies are being sold, and at least not one person has made any kind of comment or remark like they didn't get much more value for their money than even they anticipated. It's definitely a success to me, and I just want that to keep going. Many more people. This is not a common type of book, and it's not one that gives a common kind of effect. And yeah, it definitely needs to reach a whole lot more people, cancer survivor or not. Many more people need to benefit from what Rooftop is offering. So yes, that is success to me.
Fantastic. I like that. I like that. I mean, great to know that success means a whole lot of things to different individuals. I mean, I love the fact. And then part of the thing for me as a successful author is number one, the number of books being sold. And I mean, I get excited every time that I receive a new pack of my books here in Port Harcourt. and people want to buy, like now I'm going off to another city tomorrow, and I know that I'm going to return with an empty bag of a particular my particular book. I know out of my books, it looks like people don't like me writing fiction books. They like me writing books that deal with process. So when I go to events, I find out that my books, Bankala, your book will sell. I mean, how to make social media and all that are the ones that just sell out. To me, it's beautiful. It's a very nice, nice, nice experience. Okay, so I wanted to. My last question was going to be how to order the books, but I think you've mentioned that already,
Yeah.
how people can order the book. So now I'm just going to ask you any final few thoughts, regarding the book. I mean, it's an amazing book written in very simple prose that anybody. Let me ask you a question. Did you really write these books? I mean, you took your time to write down every single detail, your research and everything. I mean, and then you're a medical doctor. How are you able to narrate in this way? That is very simple. Like within it, no big grammar. I mean, very simple to read. Very, very simple. Like even secondary school students can read it. I mean, primary six, maybe primary 4 or 5 can read the book because I think you really deliberately decided to make it so simple that anybody can read, isn't it?
Yes, I did. Thank you for noticing that. I'm all about like things being simple, simplified, and effective. Right? Who is this like book serving? I'm not writing like a paper for the medical community. There is no need to like use bamboozling words or anything. Um, so yes, I took the time. Yes, every single word. I was careful about that. So yeah, but I am the only one who could tell the story. Like I lived it. So yes, all the words of mine, and I made sure it's as simple as possible. Every like term, every word, it's easy to read for everyone. Like I said, it's available on Amazon and the seller websites wherever you are. This is, I mean, if you just maybe we'll be able to put this. We should be able to put the links like in the comments so that anybody that wants to click or okay, you can reach out to me on Messenger. Just reach out to me. If you Google Izuhunwa Amadasun, if you actually Google my name, you should see those links, the order links like come up. Um, so my final thoughts. Hmm. We so what I'm going to share is more about like reminders, things that we know. We actually know these things, but from our day-to-day activities, from life's busyness to all the drama that happens, we sometimes lose sight of, and that's the fact that see, life goes by in a flash. Like time passes really, really quickly. And I mean, things can change from one day to the next. Like you blink, someone has passed away, you blink, some profound change has happened. Like things happen really, really quickly. And it's important to make sure your moments count as much as possible. Like you only have one life. There is no do over. I mean, there's eternity, right? But in terms of this earthly life, there is just one. And I'm pretty sure everybody wants to. I mean, we want different things, but fundamentally, everybody wants to be able to live a happy life, one that they can be proud of, one that they can say, oh, was meaningful to them, was fulfilling, they enjoyed it, right? So living your life with a high level of intentionality is super key, super important. And at the end of the day, like that's what matters. You do not want to be amongst those people that we hear that on their deathbed or at the end of their lives, they are regretting the things they didn't do, the things they did, all of that. You don't want to have live uh, with regrets. As a friend of mine would say, you live full, you die empty, right? That is the goal. So for me, being confronted with my mortality so closely with this cancer, they'll change a lot of things um, for me and my perspective in life. And I wouldn't wish cancer on my worst enemy. I don't even want anything close to be like that to happen to anybody. And you shouldn't wait. or have to experience something like that for it to jolt you into living an intentional life. Like I live my life very, very intentionally now. It's informed. I mean, the career path that I decided to take is informed like how I like relate with people, the things that I allow get to me, not get to me, just everything about finances, about everything. Um, and to be able to live that intentional life and an authentic life and a happy life, um, it's key. You have to really figure out what you're about and what is going to make you like fulfilled and happy. It's so important to do that. I'm very, very, very uh, a big proponent of living an authentic life, like not faking anything. You shouldn't be wanting things because like society or maybe the people around you expect that that's what you should want, or that's what you should do, or this is the place that you should go. Really sit with yourself. I mean, first step I would say is sit down with yourself, introspect. Do not be too busy to think, and pause and take out the time to really be with yourself, because at the end of the day, the most important relationship you have is with yourself. And this is not me trying to, none of these things I'm saying has anything to do with motivational speaking. I'm not even a motivational speaker, but it's important that you you think of what really matters to you, and that should guide you as to what you want to do in life. So for me, if there's any new thing that I'm maybe considering or thinking about, right, um before I would proceed with it, I mean, I usually would pass it through three filters. The first is, oh, does God approve of this? Like, I'm a person of faith, and I believe in God, I believe in Christ, and try to go by his values and his principles. Is it something that goes against my values? I got that. Okay, that's the first filter. Second filter is this actually causing genuine harm to somebody else? Like, I wouldn't want to cause harm to somebody else. Notice how I didn't say I don't want to offend somebody else, because especially in our day, people look for every reason to be offended. Right. So this is not about offense, because whatever you do, somebody will be offended. But it doesn't really cause genuine harm to them, right? So that's the second level of filter. And then the third thing is, does this make me happy? Is this something I really want to do, want to go forward with? As long as I can go through these filters and it's fine, then I proceed with it, right? So doing that, this is something that you can adopt, making sure that like your life is actually aligned the way you want it to go. And then pursue what your goals are. Um, you have to be to live this life, you need a whole lot of courage. Like, you need a whole lot of courage. There's going to be a lot of things that are scary, things that make you afraid. There are going to be things that, I mean, really, really scare you. But courageously living life, not just when things are bad. But yeah, irrespective of what people's opinions are about it, just really going for that is key. Um, to be able to do that and live life, live free. Don't be holding on to, I mean, so many, sometimes we just hold on to so many like needless grudges, or there are so many things that get to us that don't even matter. Like, so many things at the end of the day do not matter. There are the things that matter, and there are the things that don't. Be able to really have that like demarcation clear in your mind, and trust me, you'll be so much better. Emotionally, you will just be, your life will just be free. So learn how to like live free. And then last but not least thing I'll say on that is just, hey, uh maybe manage your stress levels. Like, we're in such a stressed like world. There's so many things happening, from job to family to, there's just a lot going on, right? Managing one's stress so that it can even be healthy and it can translate to bettering other aspects of your life is key. I talked about the sleep, like, which is very, very, very underrated. Please, guys, make sure you're getting enough sleep. Recommended for an adult 78 hours a day, right? Make sure you get enough good restful sleep. If you have that sleeping problem, insomnia, whatever, please get that looked at, like actually have it addressed. You can reach a specialist, have that addressed, make your eating as healthy as you can possibly do, exercise. Hey, taking 10,000 steps a day counts as exercise. You must not always be in the gym pumping iron or anything, but just do those things and pamper yourself, like make yourself happy. Find the ways to make yourself happy. You weren't just born in the world to like work, 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 hustle, 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 and die. That can't be it, right? As they would say, like nobody on their deathbed is, oh, I should have worked harder. I wish I had worked harder. No, people once wish they had had chilled, like within reason. People wish that spent more time with their family. They had traveled to different places. Like me, any opportunity, good opportunity I get to like travel, explore. Those are things I like. I will do that. I will go salsa dancing. I would do all the things that make me happy. It's key for me. And yeah, being like truly, truly, truly happy and make the impact that I want to make in the world. I mean, not just uh, with people's health and okay, helping cancer survivors, not just with, I mean, because I do financial coaching as well, financial education, not just impacting people's finances, but other aspects, like making sure that, hey, I can say I did the best I could every day and it makes me fulfilled, it makes me happy do that. So yeah, that should be like a blueprint for everybody's life, I would say. So yeah, those are my final thoughts. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and thank you, Celebis, for your platform, for yeah being as helpful to as you are to me and your community. Like I'm like every time I like stuff from you, yes, it's like yes, you inspire me to be a better writer, to make more impact, to do like more good in the world. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Doc. You said to me that you're going to be very busy in the coming weeks. Is there a project you're working on?
Yes,
Is there a new
yes.
thing? Are you traveling to Nigeria or to any other part of the world?
Okay, yes. So I mean, yes, it's busy season for me. So and this is a good thing to throw out there. So I mentioned that I'm financial coach, a personal finance coach. What I do is help people, especially people who are tired of like making mistakes with their money. I help them to address those, build money management skills, help them deal with money related stress, and build to the financial security they want. Because hey, money is important. There's a reason why. Like Mr. Nobis would say when he's hosting a live that has to do like money stuff, people gather because hey, money affects everything, literally everything. So it's important for people to be financially literate and intelligent. And it's something I am super, super, super passionate about. So what I'm doing, I mean, literally kicks off next week, Monday, which is the 30th. I have a free virtual masterclass, which is titled The A to Z Blueprint to Organize Your Finances for Success. So it's open to everybody, people who really want to get their money in order, people who like kind of are all over the place, freestyling their money to be able to get organized from everything from like your income, your savings, investments, debt, all of that. So me taking you through a simple process. I'm all about simple, right? No stress, no overwhelm. We're all busy. Nobody wants anything complex, right? So I'm going to be taking you through that like for an hour. So it's happening at 8 p.m. West African time on Monday, the 30th of October. If you go to like my Facebook page, is the pin post there. You have to register to attend. It's free to attend, but you do have to register. So I'm doing that, and then through there, I'm going to be working like with a group, doing some group coaching, like kind of taking people through a mini boot camp. So when you attend the masterclass, you get more details on that and how you can be a part of that. Also a simple process, but people who want to get right with their money, want to have things in order, they want to be able to thrive financially. It's important that you attend. See the way the world is going, Nigeria especially, with everything happening with that currency, everything happening in our economy. Now it's not the time. Like you can't afford to mess up your money. So I'm going to be taking people through that. And trustingly, this will be the first place I say it, but then I will also, like as the month kind of wears on, I'm also going to be launching my second book. My second book is more happy this time. It's not all cancer and sadness. This one is actually related to money, personal finances, and it's one that people are going to want to have a copy of. So yes, have a whole lot to do and things here and there. So I would just suggest that everybody just follows me, follows my page, and watches the space. There's going to be a whole lot coming that you're going to love. So Thank you for the opportunity to say that, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doc, for this great conversation we had tonight. Thank you for sharing from the depth of your heart about your book, about your journey, about what you went through, and how you have penned this thing down, penned your travail down for a lot of individuals to read and to take away lessons for their own lives. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you so much. I think my final question will be now, there are a lot of individuals who must have gone through certain situations, maybe say cancer or some kind of diseases, and they have been spoken to about how to live when they got healed. Tell us, with regards to your own specific case, things that you're doing. Maybe someone could stumble on this. Are there checks you're doing? Are you constantly in touch with your doctors? Foods, lifestyle. I mean, because there was this movie I saw. There was this movie I saw. I can't remember the name, but it was a serious movie. So the guy beat cancer, and everybody was happy. I think he came. What happened? I can't remember exactly the name of the movie, but it's a romantic series actually. So the girl left US and traveled to Italy,
Oh,
and
from
from
scratch.
yeah, from scratch. Okay, yeah. So if you remember the title, the guy first and foremost beat cancer at first, and then the thing came back again, and eventually took his life. But he was doing all his tests, so regularly he was doing tests and scans and everything, and then the thing came back, and I mean it was painful, watching him, the way they depicted the thing, his skin color and all that, and before you knew it, he passed away. So I don't know, with someone who has gone through, it may not be cancer, but in terms of the protocols to observe, to keep it at bay now that he has gone.
Okay, that's brilliant, Shan. I'm glad that you remember that, and yes, it's important that we talk about it. So cancer is something that changes one's life forever. There is, I can't even imagine a way that somebody has gone through that. Let's say the person gets through it, is successful, is in remission, live a happy life after that, but then that person is forever changed in one way or the other. Um, me, but that this and this can apply to if somebody who's gone through cancer, some other kind of illness, or any kind of difficulty. Your awareness, first of all, your awareness, your level of awareness of things really shoots up. Right. So from or what the protocol typically is for cancer is that you have, after being declared cancer free, you're in remission, you have checks every 6 months. So for the last 5 years, like every 6 months, I've had checks, I'll do scans, I'll do blood work, just things to sure everything is still in order, cancer has been recorded, because unfortunately, yes, there's always that chance of a cancer recurrence. So all these checks will help. And then after 5 years, so I've crossed the 5 year mark now, there is yearly checks. I mean, just do things, you just check and make sure things are in order. That's typically the protocol. Right, so I do that. I'm thankfully now the healthiest I've ever been. So I am someone who has always been on the slim fit uh, side because I'm just high metabolism or whatever. Like physique is just slim. So I've not like had that problem. Somebody will look at you and maybe think you're fit, right? People who are maybe on the bigger side, they are like stereotyped to be like, oh, this person is unhealthy, even though that's not always the case. But anyway, I had to, like me, I became like more, so not just uh, reduce my risk of recurrence, but just to make sure I'm as healthy as I possibly can be. Like those three health pillars that I mentioned, like sleep, diet, exercise, like I'm very careful of that. So for instance, my diet, I really was able to like cut down on things like the processed food, the junk food. I wasn't like eating a whole lot of that before, but making sure that I had already taken out things like sodas from my diet, and also I try, uh, I try what I can, like eating more of the fruits and vegetables, so have like smoothies and things like that. I'm not like a vegetarian, or I wouldn't say oh, I never have like a snack or the ice cream or something, but as much as possible, I cut down and I can indulge once in a while. So that's what I chose to do, right? For the exercise, um, because of my whole doctor schedule and the crazy hours and just had like I couldn't exercise as much as I wanted to back then, but I'm on a very good exercise like schedule like the last um 4 years now. So like 3 to 4 times a week. I'm making sure I'm getting exercise like 45 minutes a day or 45 minutes on the exercise days. I do that. People who know me know I jog a lot. So I do that indoor exercises. I just try to keep fit, keep that. It's not about looking slim, but are you actually fit? So I'm very, very keen on that. And sleep, making sure I get enough sleep. If for whatever reason I'm not able to get enough sleep in this day, like a way to rest up and make up for that sleep deficit. It is okay. Like guys, go even just Google or ask ChatGPT the benefits of sleep. You will understand why you need sleep, enough sleep in your life. This one is not just also I have because I'm busy and stuff. You're killing yourself. You need enough sleep. Um, that leads me into the stress management. Like I've I discovered that I will use the word allergic to stress. So stress management, I'm very, very key on that. Like nothing should like affect my life and just cause like disorder or cause me to be in this chronic stress. If things are like kind of there's a lot happening, the volume of like my work or stuff like that is getting too much, I make sure like I have to like nip that in the bud and manage my stress levels as much as possible because yeah, I don't want that thing to affect me, makes my body go all haywire, I will lose weight. And stress is actually a trigger for cancer. FYI, for people who don't know. So there are a lot of reasons that it's stress, right? I'm not ready for that life. It's not like I have to be stressed before I can like make the money I want to make. No, so I'm very, very keen on that. So that's essentially really my life. And yes, doing the things that bring me like joy, making sure I'm with the people I love spending time with, the people I love. I'm doing the work that I like to do. Yes, trusting of faith. So yes, building my relationship with God is key, and just all of these things. That's what I try to do because at the end of the day, when it comes to health, health is holistic, right? It's your mental health, emotional health, your physical health. Those things are key. So that's what I do. And everybody who has gone through cancer or has gone through, it could be a chronic illness. Maybe there was a time that your blood pressure was reading as really high. Maybe what the doctor advised, things that you're doing has come down low. You still keep checking. Don't just be like, okay, I'm healed. That's the end, and then throw that part of life away. Like there's no kind of follow up or checks or stuff. And then maybe there's something your body feels off and then you fail to go do a checkup. See, if anything is feels off in my body. There was a time last year that I felt that it sounds funny, but there was just like a phase of like 2 3 weeks where I had become so voracious that I was eating like it was almost compulsive. It's just that I was getting so hungry and then eating. I was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, I know I'm not pregnant, so what is happening? And it kind of, I mean, this was around like August, and in September, I was going to have my check, so my 6 monthly check. Then I was like, you know what? See, I don't take chances. I don't play with my health. I was like, we should do everything. I checked hormonal levels. I checked my blood sugar. I did things outside of the test that I would normally do. What I'm supposed to be checking for. I ordered everything. I didn't even care that I was spending money for this. It was just like, if there is a problem, if there's something that needs to be fixed, something that will be picked up by this, let me just do that. So yeah, you have to just avoid what you can avoid, in essence. So that's something I would advocate for everybody.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Doctor, for this great time out that I had with you tonight. My regards to you in your journey, what you're doing in the coming weeks, and all the work that you're putting in together. to make things better for others. Thank you, Doctor. It's been an amazing time. 3 sessions we've had so far, having conversations around pain and grief and going through such, let me not say perilous, but very tormenting or very painful periods of our lives, especially when we are dealing with sickness. Thank you. Thank God for your life and the healing that you got. Thank God that you're back on your feet and all the great works that you're doing. We wish you more years alive, more beautiful years alive, and for you to do truly remarkable stuff in the lives of people. Thank you so much, Doctor. At this point, guys, I want to say thank you to you for joining us. If you can share the live stream, please go ahead and share this live stream to your timeline. There is a share button beneath the screen. Just tap the share button and you share this live stream to your timeline. You never can tell the soul that you can save by being a helper and sharing the live stream. That's why we're living, to be light to other individuals in the dark, for those who are already in the dark, to bring them out. So thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you, Doctor, once again, and keep being remarkable and amazing. See you some other time for another great conversation on my timeline. My name remains Emeka Nobis. Good night and goodbye.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.